Hi, I'm Denisha and I use acrylic paint to express the beauty and emotion that I see all around me. Because I live in Australia, which is a treasure trove of natural beauty, this often means that I paint landscapes. However, the painting that I decided to do this time was an ode to friendship and found family. Being a second generation Sri Lankan immigrant means that the majority of my extended family is overseas. Their places end up being filled by the Sri Lankan community that we have in Sydney, but specifically my family friends who have become my extended family. I didn't really appreciate this relationship when I was younger, but as we all got older, we all grew closer as well. And this was primarily by playing D&D together. If you've never played, it's a tabletop role-playing game, and we now have monthly sessions where I swear sometimes I'm laughing the whole time, which is several hours. I filmed part of this video as a vlog style, and I believe I'm about to introduce you to my pet, Lisa. I took a bit of a break, and now the sun is setting. It's golden hour. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Say hi. You're so cute. Are you so cute? Okay, back to the voiceover. So, as I was saying, with my family friends, one of the traditions that grew from this is a yearly Christmas trip to somewhere in New South Wales where we explore, cook meals, and have epic D&D sessions. We're all pretty fond of the beach, but last year we decided to go inland to a town called Mudgee. Because we're a pretty big group, we booked a large house to fit us all, and it was just the coolest experience. We did see a snake on our deck at one point, but I guess that's just part of living in Australia. And on one of these days during this trip where we were having so much fun, one of my family friends, Haritha, started taking pictures of us randomly, which we often did. My brother, myself, and my other family friend Chitru were on the side deck of the house, and my brother, being the class clown as usual, started making silly faces and reaching towards the camera. We followed suit, of course, and the picture remains one of my favorites from the trip. I feel like it encompasses that bubbling, spontaneous, silly joy that I feel all the time with this group, as well as the nostalgia and blues of finishing up a great holiday and having to go back home. Even aesthetically, I love the colours, the composition, the way that you can see the shadow of the garage in the bottom left corner. I think to a stranger, this painting could evoke so many different interpretations depending on their own life experiences, and I love that aspect of art and painting. I'm in a really good mood today. I actually went to a print lab yesterday to print some of my other artworks in a few different sizes, and so I put in that order and I went to the city to do that. Pixel Perfect Pro Lab in Sydney City. I've only used them once before, but I was really happy with the quality of the print. I know that on my glasses I have like so many scratches, so you can like barely see my eyes. Oh yeah, there it is. I know that. I know I need new glasses. My friends have been telling me for like a year now. Glasses cost money. Okay, glasses cost money. Anyway, getting more technical, this painting was also a mental break for me. My works are often detailed landscapes, which takes a long time and a lot of focus. I love that whole process and the outcomes that come from it, but it can be exhausting, and by the time I finished a work, I am in no rush to start a similar one straight away. Instead, what I've been trying to do is have a mental break work in between, where I purposely try to be experimental with my concept and technique. I challenge myself to focus on emotion instead of realism, and I know that looking at this painting, you could say it is still relatively realistic, but I really did try to let my technique flow organically. The figures are blurry, the colors are brighter, the shapes are simplified. These paintings are, for me, I don't put as much pressure on myself, and I usually don't make prints of them as I might usually do, but by the end of it, I feel refreshed, my soul feels rested, and I'm ready to start another work. In this painting, I also used professional grade acrylic paints for the first time. I really wanted to see what the difference was and allow myself some space to get used to the new colors that I bought. The brand I decided on was Golden Heavy Body Acrylic and Primacryl, I'm not too sure how to say it, but I got that brand as well for a couple of colors. I got the basic colors that I saw recommended, so a cold and warm tone of each primary color, neutrals like burnt umber and white. The biggest difference that I found was the texture and pigment. It is undoubtedly more buttery and smooth. The paints just glide onto the canvas and I just love the way that it does that. My technique uses quite a lot of water when I paint, and so I noticed that it was taking more water to dilute these paints to transparency. But that was actually a good thing. It just showed how pigmented they were. I also had a more limited palette because I didn't want to spend a fortune, buying every color available. But that was actually really nice. It forced me to mix my own colors, and I think it kept the whole painting a bit more cohesive. For example, the sky in this painting is not the exact shade of blue that I originally wanted because I was limited to this palette, but I think it fits in perfectly. I honestly think I have been converted and I will probably use professional grade paints a lot more. The next part of this video is from when I went to pick up my fine art prints. This was my outfit of the day. This shirt is from Clothing the Gap, which is a wonderful Aboriginal owned clothing brand, and I would highly recommend them. I had also done a really cool eyeliner shape that I don't usually do, and I had re-dyed my hair a bright red. I know this is all a bit random, but these are all things that I really enjoy, so I thought I'd include them. I then travelled to Sydney CBD, this is Central Station, and walked to the print lab. Sometimes you don't realise how pretty a city is until you record it and watch it back. I picked up my prints and original painting and trekked it back on the metro. I probably should have driven, but I will never drive unless it is absolutely necessary. And it was a good arm workout anyway. When I got home, I carefully opened my print using cotton gloves to avoid getting any oils from my skin on them. And they turned out so beautiful and I'm so happy with them. And thank you so much to the people who have already bought some of my prints. I appreciate you so, so much. Anyway, back to the main part of this video. In terms of my painting process, I first gesso my canvas and then tone it with a color that honestly I pick based on my mood most of the time. For this painting, it was a burnt umber. I then paint in lines for the main aspects of the painting, just roughly so I get an idea of where everything is. If it is quite complicated or I really want it to be perfect, I may use a grid, but mostly I prefer the organic approach. I then block in the main colors, and this is also a way of making sure that the colors work together because I don't really do color studies beforehand, although I really should. And then it's just a matter of adding details and refining until it reaches a stage that I'm happy with. This part is pretty intuitive for me. For example, I know that with acrylic paints, it's recommended to paint the dark parts of the painting first, but for this painting, I felt really compelled to start with the sky and the white beams of the deck. I kind of just get into the flow of it and I don't really question those decisions. Then there is a very distinct stage at the end of the painting where I feel like I'm done or almost done, but there's just something a little bit off which I can't identify, mostly because I've been staring at it for too long. And so I ask my family and friends what they think, and my family is very honest with their feedback, and I have to resist the initial urge to resist the critique because I know that's just my ego talking. But in the end, they or I recognize what's wrong and I work on it until the painting is finally fully complete. This video is not really an educational video, mostly because I feel that I still have so much to learn as an artist, but I also know how important it is to share information and learn from each other as artists. So if you do have any questions about my process, please comment them below. Here I'm just painting the sides of my painting black with a foam brush. I find this is the easiest method and colour for me. Although I will occasionally change it up depending on the painting. I really enjoyed creating this longer form video instead of the usual 10-second clips that Instagram prefers, and I can really see myself making more of these videos in future if anyone would be interested in that. And finally, even though you've already seen it, here's the final reveal of the artwork. I've titled this Holiday Blues and Oranges.